Hello, Mgtow. Check my sound. Okay. I have to let the YouTube play over so I can see if I'm actually have sound. So hello, Mgtows. Oh, I gotta. Today will be brought to you by Turd Flinging Monkey, I suppose. I'm using a turd flinging monkey. Yeah, I know. I usually use my OD cup, but I figured I'd pull my turd flinging monkey cup out of the closet. So hello, man. How are you doing today? It's Sunday morning. Go your own way. Is it Sunday morning? Let me check on that. I could be wrong. Yes, it's Sunday morning. Go your own way, man, and all your sins are forgiven from the past, and you are new in Mgtow. All that. Go your own way. Go your own way. I could never get this that way that way because it's flipped. It's the rotation of the screen is flipped over, and you can just never get it right. Um, Today we're going to talk about. I've been. I was just out on the kind of not feeling very good. I got my vaccination, and there it goes. And it just brought up a lot of questions. It's like, is this going to be one of those things that are free in life that are eventually going to hurt me? And I had to go through that in my mind. I was waiting from Rite Aid, and then Rite Aid was supposed to call me, and Rite Aid never did. And so I had to go down there, and it brought up some questions in life of things that happen in life and how things really happen in life. Most of the things you're going to do in life, you're going to have to ask for. There's desire, which I was experiencing. I'm desire to not get sick. And then there was action. I had to take an action. And this brought up the whole thing. It was actually more of the action that I had to take. And a lot of times with our government, waiting for a phone call from Rite Aid to deliver a injection was not going to happen. So I had to go down to the Walgreens and then bust through the doors at the end of the day and say, "Do you have any shots?" And they said, "Yes, we do have one. We'll give it to you." And that's the sort of action I wanted to talk about today. You have to go ask for it. And then it brought up all these questions of what I was asking for when I did this, what pathos I was asking for. There's some pathos. Pathos is suffering from desire, suffering from logos is logic, an expression of logic, and pathos, ethos is ethics, and pathos is emotion, expression of motion. So, is Joey late? Yeah, Joey's late. I gave him. I don't know if Joey's going to come in. I just sent him a link, and that's okay if he doesn't. If he wants to, he doesn't have to. But what it really summed up in my head, there's been these things in my life where I asked for something and it came true, and I got exactly what I asked for. And we all go through these things when you don't know quite what you're asking for. And marriage was one of those things. I asked for marriage, and I got marriage, and I got everything that comes along with it, all the suffering. All the pathos that goes along with marriage, I got. And I'm still a little sore from the shot. So we asked for these things. And Joyce. Hello, Joyce.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Joey. Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm post apathy coach today. For anybody that has post apathy, I was talking about desire and what that leads to, and mainly the idea of we all get what we ask for. And in life, I was going to tell a few stories that when I was in the army, the first time I experienced this was we were toting a bunch of guns up from to the Fort Perry range up here, and we had to deliver them. So they needed guards to deliver these things to these. And we stopped in a restaurant, and it was in South Carolina, I think it was. And I went in and I said, what can I get here? Because we were on commissary, and I didn't know if there was a specific dinner. And the rather attractive waitress says, you can get anything you want, son. And I thought, last time I was in South Carolina, I had a really bad episode with a woman. Uh, and and I thought, yeah, I will get what I want. And it's like I could take her out back and whatever. And then she was very attractive and everything nice. And I think I got a what was it? I think I got a fish sandwich and then left. And but we commandeered the restaurant and everything. So you can get you can get anything you want in life. And it always struck me as strange that she said that. So I kind of investigated it. But you can get anything in life that you want. Like the shot, I had a desire to go get it. So I went and did it. And then I started questioning, there's going to be some pathos with this. There's going to be a sore arm. I'm going to be sick for days. I'm getting exactly what I asked for. In life and marriage, things are like that too. You will get exactly what you ask for, and it all blooms from this one thing. It's the philosophy of desire. Desire comes in a lot of different forms. It's action based, it's pleasure based, it's good based, attention based, learning based. Holistically, we can do all those sort of things, but what now people never talk about is you're going to get what you desire. And in the government, with the government especially, I don't know if you know this one, but the government has a specific. You're never going to get anything from the government unless you ask for it. Hence, me going down and asking for my vaccine. I had to go down there physically, and most of the people which have got these things, you had to go down there and ask for it. You had to demand it. You had to demand your rights. Freedom's like that too. Mgtow's like that too. It's action based. Another episode which kind of comes into this thing after getting a divorce and everything, and I'm sitting across from the lady at Health and Human Services, and we're having an argument about what she knows about me and what she thinks she should know about me. And you know how the way I am. I says, you should know my name. You should know who you're talking to. You should have everything about me on that. Do you? And she said, no, all we want is this, and this. And I says, lady, I ain't no slave. And I do this in life. I ain't no slave. I ain't no slave at work. I ain't no slave to Health and Human Services. I ain't no slave. And she was like, Hetty Lukey said the other day, and it started me thinking. He said it takes two to tango, and that's the common response from people about pregnancy and stuff. He says, that's the traditional conservative response to that. And it started my brain thinking, like, even in these little idioms we give and everything about what we do is we disregard female responsibility, and we take it on ourselves. That's the suffering. That's the pathos of marriage. We take on all the responsibility. We take it, but that's voluntary, isn't it?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's the guys that are not I think they're just ignorant too, though. I think they learn that stuff later through the pain they have to go through.
Right. The worst things in life are free, and we'll find that out in life. But in this, it's always going to be posed as something that's desirable, isn't it? And then when you get there, you find out, this wasn't very desirable.
Bait and switch. Yeah, I think it's like a bait and switch. Yeah, bait and switch.
Actions on that. I didn't receive no pleasure. I didn't receive nothing from this.
Right.
And it led to a lot of bad things. But you had to sign up for your own slavery, which the end question on that, is that legal? And that's not legal in the United States to sign up for slavery. It used to be. I can't remember where you had an understudy and he was your slave back in the 1700s, and then you gave him all the knowledge you did about this particular institution, which was either lawyering or some kind of job, accounting or something. Yeah, we see Morley and in the Christmas story about he's an understudy. He's a slave to Cratchit. And
Mm-hmm.
somewhere down the story, I think it was all about his freedom. It was about his choices in life and everything, about the horrors of his choices in life too. I have a small beetle crawling on me.
It
Oh,
reminds me of these companies that do internships. They get these gullible college students and young people to say, "Oh, you can work for us for peanuts,"
yeah,
but you get experience. We'll give you the experience. You can put on your resume. So, but at the end of the day, they're getting all this cheap labor.
yeah.
That's
They're
really,
getting cheap labor, and you can have all the
yeah,
suffering you want.
right. They're just total scams.
Yeah, it's a life lesson about desire and what we want
Yeah,
in life. And education is like that. Like I put in the low bar. Most things in life are like that. You can find that education's like that, marriage is like that, sex is like that.
yeah.
Just ask, and you'll get everything you want. Love is like that. Debt is like that. Go ask for your debt. Suffering will all lead to pathos. There will be some
Mhm.
pathos about this thing. Work and labor, and all your troubles will come from these
Mhm.
things we desire.
Mhm.
And please, when you observe these things in life, uh, know what you're asking for. That's, I guess, was just
Mhm.
the topic for the day. The Mgtow topic for the day is know what you're asking for.
Mhm. Yeah, well, I mean, I see it like even like purchasing a house, for example, right? You want to buy this beautiful house, but people don't see the suffering that people have to go through to maintain the payments on the house if they have a mortgage, or maintaining the house if something breaks, you got to call a repairman if you don't know how to fix it, stuff like that, like they don't. Yeah, I don't think they have a good understanding of those things, you know.
Yeah, all these things. Your property. You don't own your property. Your property owns you. Is what
Right,
the
it ends up owning you, and then all the stress that comes with it, and you apply it to a lot of things, but definitely corporate America, at least. I don't know about. I mean, I guess you can probably, corporations are pretty much the same globally, but yeah, they
corporation.
just they just totally treat they just totally treat their employees like crap, and the employees don't even. I don't even think they know what's happening to them. They
Yeah,
think, because they think, oh, I got this job, I'm making good money or whatever, and they think it's a good job. But to me that's not a good job when they're treating you like a slave, because that's what they do. They think they own you,
it's about
especially now with all these emails after business hours and all this other kind of stuff. They expecting you to work 24/7.
yeah. There's a lot of things and I was thinking that I've always thought about that with the government and health and human services and that and everything and believe it or not, if you're a if you're one of these men that are behind in child support and all that stuff and everything, and if you walk in there and you say, "I'm not your slave anymore," that has a profound effect because you're telling them what you want in life. There's a law, I can't remember which law it is, and that the government has all these programs. The government has a million programs, but they can't just go and give these programs out to everybody that needs them. You have to go ask for it. And with freedom, it's that way with your government too. The first thing that these men with child support and alimony and that's being enforced by the baby mama clinics uh, is you have to tell them what you want. And if you tell them that you want, if you tell them that you're not a slave, that's a negation of this thing. It works out very well for you. But I remember when I did it, it was earlier, and I did it. I said, "Lady, I am not your slave. I
Hmm.
mean, if you want something from me, you better know who I am. You better know what I look like. You better know every little detail about my life, and then you can make a judgment. But if you want something, especially labor," I said, "Lady, I ain't your slave." She immediately called the the sheriff that's there, and he's and blah blah blah. She accused me of being I am about the most personable person in the world, and I'm not. I'm very rarely aggressive. She says he's being aggressive, and I said
Yeah.
no. And I stood up against the cop, and I said no, she's lying. I said I'm no slave. And he goes, "Oh, okay." So they escorted me out, and the sheriff came to my house and accused me of. I
Yeah.
said, place needs to be bombed. This place needs to be leveled to the ground. And I guess I got my first red flag in the world. And
Who said that? Who said that had to be level? The sheriff?
no, I said it. I said, this place needs to
Oh,
be leveled.
oh,
I said, you people are stupid. They don't understand. If I say I deny slavery, I
yeah,
deny it, that
yeah.
they understand, but they get really mad that if you say that, they have to reciprocate and say, yes, you're free.
Mm-hmm.
They have to. So it's legal. It's the law. It's if 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 in America they hold you to slavery, then we're going to have another civil war. But the
Yeah.
thing that they get is like you volunteer, and there's a lot of guys that go down there and they volunteer. It's my Jill and my Johnny Jill and the what is that? The analogy of he keeps asking for his fatherhood slavery, and they give him exactly what he wants. In my analogy,
Mm-hmm.
yes, he wants that baby. He wants to be daddy, but with daddy comes along being a slave, and
Yeah.
with that, it's a very good lesson in life for Americans, and I think Canadians too, and English people. Oh, depends on your country. If you feel like something's, if you feel you want something, you can go get your education. You can go. All you have to do is ask. The world works like that. You ask, and if there's a program, they have to. You're compelling them to give them that program. But always make sure you know what you're asking for. Marriage is like that. And when you're in that situation, if something's wrong, and you start, like I say, if you feel like a slave, you are a slave, and your duty in life is to say, no, I'm not, and that will end immediately, or else other things will come. And
Yeah. 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 Your boundaries are not set properly. So yeah, your boundaries are not right. If you take that stand and set that boundary
yeah,
where you say I'm not a slave, you're gonna make better decisions because no one's gonna take advantage of you.
no,
That applies to anything.
and people are morally obligated to understand that thing. I have a guy that consistently tries to. His life is about. His life is about taking advantage of people, and he consistently tries to enslave my labor. And we talked
Yeah.
about this a lot when the phone used to ring, and I used to say,
Right.
"What can I do for you?" There was a lot of people that wanted to invoke this thing where they enslave my labor. I'm dedicated, and I used to go on and say yes, yes. And there's this truth, and I'm going to tell you these guys this truth about this thing. Is how did it go? Shit, it just slipped my mind. It may come back a little later, but I'm a little foggy still from the shot. So if something slips my mind,
Yeah.
I know the path I wanted to take there, but it just went away.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to, I don't know, just like I want to like take a step back, like so yeah, I think it's a natural thing for a man to want to have children, right? I think it's in
Right.
nature. It's like
Nature.
you're gonna want to you want to create things, right?
Right.
But the world that we live in, so the people that are kind of in control of things, they want to make things unnatural, so
Right.
they take that natural desire and natural instinct to want to create and have a family, or not necessarily have a family, but have children, right? I think that's definitely in man. But we're smart enough to recognize their scam. They pulled a scam on us, right? And they got this thing going, and where marriage is now it becomes slavery. So they turn marriage into slavery, right? So now we recognize that, so we're not going to play their game. It's unfortunate in some ways because for those guys that do want to follow that natural instinct
Yeah.
to have
Polygamy.
kids, children, or whatever. But I shouldn't say kids; that's not appropriate.
Right.
But children is right term. But yeah. So that's just something I've been thinking about, because that's why that desire is there for a lot of
There's
men
a serious
to
link.
want to do that.
The desire, and then, like I said, polygamy, and it links directly
Yeah,
to slavery. And if you don't believe
yeah,
that,
yeah,
anytime you lie to somebody, that's what I wanted to say before.
yeah,
A philosophical lie is a lie. When you lie to someone, that's what I wanted to tell. Well, this guy, he comes around and he tries to philosophically lie to people. And when you
yeah,
philosophically basically lie to people. What you do is you enslave them to that lie.
Yeah, yeah. The thinking. Yeah, it's
Yeah, you enslave their thinking.
well,
So,
you see it with political correctness. You see it with a
right,
lot of things.
political
Like
correctness and all that stuff.
yeah,
You tell a lie
yeah,
to somebody, you're
yeah,
enslaving. It's a very unethical thing, and we don't do that around Mgtow, and we call it
yeah,
out. We see it. We call out the suffering of marriage when we see it. You're telling a lie to these people, so
yeah.
you are directly responsible philosophically for holding them in slavery to that lie. And
Right, right. They don't see it, even with taxes. They think, oh, I got this great job, but yeah,
yeah,
you're making $200,000. Yeah, but 100,000 that money,
yeah,
you're not getting all that money. You're partnering with the
you're
that's why I'm not going to move to California, because it's just I was going to move back and I'm like, forget it. I said taxes are, I got to go partners with the state. That's not even federal. That's state tax, 10 to
yeah, that
15.
was
Forget
revenue.
it.
In the government, they always talk about revenue. Revenue is
Yeah.
taxes, which they feel they feel you are revenue when they put you in those
Right.
terms
Right.
of revenue instead of taxes based on commerce. You're allowed
Yeah.
to gas. The government sets up this beautiful program, and I often explain it through the Home Depot analogy. You go down to
Yeah.
Home Depot, and there's a million jobs there. All you got to do is pick up a variety of that stuff, go on your community, and sell them products. And the Home Depot will assist you with this. They will give you discounts. They will help you make money. That all comes through the government and commerce. But taxes after that, when you start calling it revenue, that's when it's not. They believe that they have the right to sit on their fat asses and take money and have jobs in those Goliath monuments to authority.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the churches, right.
And
Like we always talk about, we joke around about it, but it's
yeah,
true.
we
If
joke
you want to see the Illuminati, just look at, just go walk outside your door. It's that big
walk out
church
your
right
door.
on the corner.
Them are
Yeah.
the people that
They're not even paying taxes. I mean,
they're
on
not,
top of that, slapping you in the face, they're giving you all this false information about spirituality, this false hope, false faith, all this thing, false love, all this kind of garbage, and then they're controlling you, and they're not paying taxes on top
right
of all that.
directly underneath our. We're not supposed to have this religiosity.
No, I
Government.
think that's the biggest thing. To me, I
That's
think it
the
starts
thing.
there, because, like you
Marriage,
said, it starts with the thoughts and beliefs.
yeah, marriage is represents 98% of our Congress and Senate. All those guys are married, and
Yeah,
that's the moral thing they believe, and in
yeah,
group process of morality where you have to be a part of our club, and that's where the Illuminati is.
yeah.
And that's where all those lies
They're
come from.
delusional. They're actually insane. I mean, and this whole thing about them being so smart and this, they're actually clinically insane. They have mental illness. They have a mental illness. They're not. I think there was a Mark Twain quote I just read, something about that, like something about the people that control it. Like they are they really smart and they're doing this on purpose, or are they just like really stupid? And I'm starting to think they're just really stupid.
Yeah, yeah,
And yeah, and they underestimate guys that really, they have an idea of what they're doing. They
yeah.
underestimate us, and we just kind of catch them at their own little tricks, and that's why I sent you that video on the trickster, tricking the trickster.
The trick of the
I
trick.
thought, I don't know if you listened to it, but it's pretty good. I think the Gnostics had it right in a lot of ways. But I think that's another religion. I think
Another,
it's a good one, though. I think that's probably the best one if I were to pick one.
yeah, if you're going to do an eclectic variety of Western esotericalism and everything, and you had to pick a religion, I don't know which one I would pick. I would probably pick Hinduism, since it's not really a religion. It's just it's a whole political thoughts about how I'm going to live in this world, which as a monk is very appealing to me. I go out and I do good things, and I do that. I go out and I do good things every day, and no matter who it is, I'm not misogynistic about this. I just go do good things, and then when I come back, I feel better about myself. But there's a desire to evolve with that too, and I was thinking about that as I was reaching through this desire. There's the desire of good based theories, being good, being that can hurt you too. What am I signing up for? Am I signing up for like I do my bike things, and I fix all the kids' bikes if they want. They can come up to my garage, pull up. I'll give them air in their tires. I'll fix their tires for them if they have them. I'll do that. But
Yeah.
at what point does it start hurting me, and it becomes a responsibility to my wallet and to my neighborhood?
Yeah.
You have to consider all these things in desire. And I manage that very well because I'm a well balanced person. But people that are out of balance and crazy like that,
Yeah.
they can't manage the desire in their lives. They can't do a holistic, sort of a holistic overview of what desire is and their responsibilities to it. Uh, and you know what? Most of all, there's a desire in a state. There's desire that's objects and desire that's a state of affairs. Is this a real state of affairs in the world that you desire? And that's what we call the fantasy fiction thing. They're believing in these
Yeah.
fantasy fiction things.
Right.
Jesus is going to come down and give me millions of dollars because all Christians, like heaven for Christian is everybody has more money than everybody else.
Well, even the whole spiritual world thing, like I think that's a lot of it just made up. It's like this whole spiritual. I mean, I know that like you can like there's no to me there's no such thing as the devil. There's no such thing as this metaphysical. You know what I mean? I don't know. I could be wrong, but I'm open minded to
That's
different things. But
fear-based.
yeah, but they're just trying to put all this fear into people and like. Yeah, so the whole spiritual world thing, like, oh, it's a spiritual thing. You wouldn't understand. You're not spiritual enough. Whatever, like this crazy stuff. And in the meantime, yeah, like guys, like we live in reality. We have to eat to live and all this, kind of stuff. That people take for
That's where
granted.
desire starts with the my desire for water. Okay, is that a bad
Yeah.
or how am I going to approach getting water? So
Yeah.
it's freely given to me by my government too, which I have to pay for, but I don't have to really do anything for that. Like the example philosophically that's given is a mango. You want to have a desire for a mango, you're going to go out. You have to take an action. I have to go out. I have to look, and the action that I have to take is a little more because I live in a food desert, so there's not going to be a mango up at the Save-A-Lot up there.
Yeah.
Thinking about where is a mango, and I have to take other actions. These actions become actions that, like, okay, now I got to pedal maybe a couple extra miles to get a mango, but I will sometimes. But there's a whole process of desire that goes, and that's a reasonable process. Water, something to eat,
Yeah.
a decent amount of happiness in your life. I think happiness, the desire for happiness, is
Yeah.
a good thing. You don't have to be hedonistic about it, but then we get into some bad things, and no one ever likes to talk about those bad things that desires do. Like I desire for a
Sure.
fantasy fiction non-state of affairs, which I know is like in the church will let you do that. The government will let you do that. They will let you enslave yourself to this fantasy fiction area, which there is no real state of affairs. Like that's not possible. That's where I think it's we have a responsibility as humans not to let other humans fall into that trap, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
That's the way.
Yeah, we have to help elevate the thinking. I mean, I think that's where
our ethics
philosophy comes in.
Yeah, we have an ethics in Mgtow. There is a Mgtow ethics, and in case anybody wants to discuss Mgtow ethics, the Mgtow ethics is to not let other people get lied to.
Yeah, to do the right thing. We have to do
the right thing. Yeah,
we have to. Yeah. You kind of know what the right thing is, like
that's an ethic to the
you
truth.
should know what it is.
Yeah, our desire for truth is ethics to the truth, a moral. We have an ethos. I was talking about pathos before. Pathos is the ethics to suffering. Ethos, we have an ethics to the truth. There's a logic. Logos is. I wanted to explain these three things to the guys, just in case they didn't know. Logos is an ethic. You have an ethics to logic. You have to, and that's what we do. We don't do pathos in here.
Yeah, because that's like I said, I think I like that tricking the trickster thing. Like it's like we see their game, we see what they're doing, and they set up all these laws, and then they got their police gang to kind of enforce everything. It's yeah. But
Yeah.
we just to me, I just try to focus on myself and just living a smart
Right.
life and try to avoid those situations. Try to avoid the bait and switch because I had a friend of mine who's telling me a story. He went to this like a massage place, and and so once the lady got the money, they agreed on the price. Once she got the money, she like totally changed her personality. like
Change your
she
personality.
she
Yeah.
wanted to get him out of there. Hey, take care. Take care. You know what I mean? Like before the negotiation, she was really nice and da 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 da, and then got the money, and then she wanted to get his ass out of there as quick as possible. It was a very bad experience for him, and stuff like that. Like right. So we just they on the larger scale, of course, marriage. That's a terrible bait and switch. Long-term relationship, another one. They just kind of have this, like you said, fantasy fictional world where this woman's going to solve all your problems and
Right.
whatever.
I've been really thinking about the stripper thing, how honest that is. Like, you have stripper maids. She comes in and she like cleans your house, and you get a service.
Yeah,
Or a stripper.
yeah.
I've been attacked by strippers. I had 2 strippers
Oh, jeez.
lately. One just this weekend. I was going to tell you off air about my newest stripper event.
Oh, yeah, yeah. You want to talk about it, or it's not the right place?
No, I think I'm being. My buddy says you're the stripper guy, Joe. All the strippers are going to just come to you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the strippers they carry knives now on their ankle, like just in case.
We were going to go through the stripper bag one. The one stripper left her bag, and
Yeah.
there was like all kinds of interesting stuff in it. We can go through it. And,
Yeah.
And, but yeah,
stripper, yeah, stripper bag. What's in the stripper bag? Yeah, you got pills. You got
pills. You
toys. You got all this.
somebody's stolen hard drive.
Yeah, you got what else you got in there? Yeah, there's a lot of
lots of makeup, and a few. You have the stripper.
Probably a missing pinky finger somewhere. I don't know. Like who knows?
Pinky. Like, she's gonna hold somebody for hostage.
She got pictures of somebody. Pictures that she's trying to like blackmail.
I have to blackmail somebody.
That's her. Yeah, yeah. If you're dealing, any guys out there who are dealing with escorts, please stop. I mean, seriously, just stop it. I mean, whatever. Like, just take a hot shower. Like my father used to say, just take a hot shower, and you'll save a lot of money and whatever. And because you deal with these people have gotten killed over it. I remember I told you a story. He was like, he went to the chick's house. This is like 15 years ago. He went to her house, and then there was a guy there waiting, and they tied him up and they killed him. And they ended up killing the guy. Because these wannabe gangsters are so stupid. They end up killing people. It's like, wow, like that, just something simple like that. It's just
anyway,
really
bad things.
Carry on. Sorry,
You gotta. What is your desire? And for me, like a stripper maid, like in the front, I want my house clean.
yeah. So stripper maids, they don't even bring any cleaning supplies with them. They expect you to have everything there, right, or something.
Did you had a maid come in for a while, didn't you, and clean your house and everything?
Yeah. It wasn't a stripper maid. It was just a Guatemalan lady used to come in. They give her $100. She did a nice job.
The one with the French costume and the maid.
Yeah.
Wanted,
stop doing that. Yeah, my buddy got that once. He got one of those stripper ladies, and he ended up fooling around with her after. He did it once or twice. Yeah, it was just really stupid. I don't know why you'd want someone like that in your house, because they could be, they could be scoping your house out, right? And then, they call the pimp and say, hey, why don't you, let's try to get this guy, because there's people are crazy, man, especially in the bigger cities. Like,
they have access to all your information too. You should always
you get your information. That's another one. That's another good thing. I recommend guys get a paper shredder, stuff like that, like the cyber crime. And it's funny, in a lot of ways, I think there's less violent crime. I don't know what the statistics are, but there's more white collar type crimes. I think these criminals are starting to understand that, hey, it pays more to do white collar crimes, and that's why they try to get your legal information and all that kind of stuff.
White collar crime, you can get
you don't go to jail as much. You don't go to the jail time's not as bad.
If you get somebody's birth date, social security,
mother's maiden name,
you could really do some damage.
Email. They have email programs now where you can open up people's emails and read their emails, and they don't even know that it was already opened. Like they have programs like that.
Yeah,
They're
you
out
can.
there, and that was out there over 10 years ago, probably longer than that.
Oh
I had
yeah.
a friend that showed me. He used to do it, and I stopped. He's like, I stopped hanging out with this guy. I liked him. He's a good guy, but then he started showing me this other shit. I'm like, oh boy, this is too much.
Uh,
So there's a lot of stuff out there. You have to be careful what you write and say and text and all that kind of stuff.
what you
Yeah.
want in life, and the stripper maid was kind of like, I want a maid to come in here and do these, clean these areas and stuff and everything, but then I have to do risk assessment.
Yeah, right. That's right.
That's something that regular blue pill guys don't do. Mgtow is all about risk assessment, about harm reduction, as I say. Uh,
Yeah.
they throw harm reduction to the wind, and then it's either they believe that anything past harm reduction would be celibacy. Like, I'm not gonna, well, celibacy was, I'm not gonna do that. So man, it gets all confused. Somewhere in the middle, we all float around on these moral decisions and ethical decisions.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I think they're just following their natural instinct. These blue pill guys, which
right.
I understand it. Okay, but you have to understand your world you live in. I mean, if you want to do that thing, then you maybe have to do some more research on it. I don't think there's any country where you're not going to get screwed over through marriage. I don't, try like in the United States, you will get screwed over. You will be a slave. That
Well,
you're signing up for slavery. If you want to follow your natural instinct,
right.
and have children, I don't think it's natural for a man to just be with one woman. Monogamy, but having children, I think, is a natural thing. But you have to also realize that that we're on kind of enemy ground, if you want to call it, where these laws are just going to screw you, and you're so we're just not gonna we're not gonna participate. And but we're giving up our, like, at least for me, I'm kind of giving up my natural instinct to have children. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a natural instinct for a man to want.
Man for you. Now there's other ways to do that. Explain to you, like I went through you could do it in other ways, have children in other ways,
right?
But then action would precede your desire to have children. You have to go out and get a circus.
Yeah, I mean, I would say if you wanted to do that, I would say fly to another country. Probably you don't want to do it in. I would fly to another country, and but then you got to probably have to deal with the consequences later. Maybe, like, she could be a real nutcase, whatever. It's So anyway, dealing with the whole women psyche thing.
That would be your desire. If your desires go out, go into a fantasy fiction world where you think she's going to be your wife, that's crazy. Yeah. I think a lot of guys get involved with that, and it's crazy. Most of the women, if you want to, you can get a surrogate. One of the payments for surrogacy in America would be citizenship to, or a extension of citizenship to that. Now that's like a $30,000 gift, and that's a very valuable thing. That's where MGTOWs could like bargain in Canadians.
I got offered like 20. I think it's 25,000 when I was in Vegas. This is like 15 years ago. I got offered 25,000 to marry a Chinese woman. I'm like,
just bring her in.
I said no. I said no. I'm not getting involved with this kind of. Because I was like, fuck it. And the guy that was setting it up, he was probably getting like 75,000, right?
Yeah, the people paid to do that. So there's.
Yeah, I was like, forget it. I said no. I don't want. That's not enough money. First of all, it's not enough money, and I don't want to do it.
Inner city or inner state surrogacy, find a girl that and you sign surrogacy papers and everything, and then you get the child at the end with the cash payment, which is probably the better way to do it. She gets $30,000, you get the child. She signs off, you're the parent. Legally, the judge will give an order of parenthood to you. You can lose that, but be a bad parent for like and then she will come back, grab that, and you will start owing child support. Because the mother thing, they would give back to the mother in a second. You could adopt. There's adoption, but that's probably not going to be your genetics. So that's, if you're just wanting to mentor a child to adulthood, that's fine. You could do it that way, adoption. And there's a lot of kids that, like I say, women have the option of Moses laws. Sometimes I screw that up and I say Lazarus laws, Laz. But
Yes. How's everybody doing? I haven't. He's like gone. I don't see any videos from him.
yeah,
Right?
he's gone dark. He made a video a little while ago, but he's gone dark. And but Moses laws, women can just give up the baby at the hospital, and you can apply for parenthood to that baby. Uh, uh, you could do it that way, or you can do it like I say, find some. It's not too hard to do, and I know a lot of guys freak out when I say this, and I've done it. I have 2 children through lesbian relationships. Uh, Trust me, they don't want you around. They want to have a kid. They don't want you around. It's an agreement, and you have to go through that, and you could do it that way too, and know that the child's going to be well taken care of with their 2 moms. Uh, but that there's a little risk involved with that too. There's always in America. There's risk involved in all these things. Uh, since we do have, I try to explain this very easily. In 1974, what had happened was it wasn't no fault divorce that it was a part no fault divorce, but no fault divorce came. They got rid of the Edmunds Act and the Morrill Act, and that was like no polygamy for men, but they forgot to do it for women. They gave women polygamy became female choice. It's just a way of rewording it. It's feminism is about female choice, and female choice is she can have baby daddy number 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it's not considered polygamous, but it is polygamy, and sometimes I just look out in this world and this country, and I say, are these Christians that run our country? Are these married people that run our country so stupid they can't see that? And they're always, and that goes down into the strong girl thing. They're all
Yeah, I
strong.
think they're mentally ill. I think that's what it is.
Mentally ill. Most of the
Yeah,
people
yeah.
in the country, they have no logos. They have no logic to them,
No,
which
no.
indicates that there's some brain dysfunction there.
Yeah, there's something wrong there, for sure. Yeah, because, and the thing is, like, by the time it takes people to time to figure it out, and then but
yeah,
there's always new suckers in the game. There's always,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Yeah, there's always new suckers that come into the game. They just keep it going. They keep this game going.
Gambit. Someone's going to go, oh shit, I see the con now.
Right, we see the con. We see the con. And I'm fortunate to see it. We're fortunate to see it because we have a less stressful life. And
get it, have the experience in life to be able to recognize that it is a con. And
yeah, bait and switch. I always talk about bait and switch because I've seen it so many times. Like with a lot of things through companies I work for and
companies
and women, the way the women act, and just
strippers.
Again, if there's a man that's trying to scam me, forget it. I mean, that's just they're gonna get punched in the mouth, or it's gonna, there's gonna be words exchanged because
that's an interesting.
That's a man. That's an honor thing, and that's different. That's even
a different set of
rules. Honor code there. Yeah, sure. Yeah, there's an honor code there between men. Yeah.
About there is a different set of morality, and where does that different set of morality come from? It comes from our legal system. It comes from those things.
Yeah.
It's presumed that you're automatically a paydor, a father, which is paydor, which is an ATM you're responsible for that through your ATM.
Yeah.
Yeah, that little machine, your wallet. There's this morality that's enforced on men, but aren't enforced on women.
Right. You can't get. It's a crime to upset the women. We talk about that a lot.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot. It's don't make happy.
I remember I got this ticket and speeding ticket or something, and the lady was a real bitch, and I called her out on it.
Yeah,
she said, I don't appreciate you talking to me. I don't know what. It's like, what are they going to arrest me for insulting a woman? I don't know. It's like they have all this like fake power or whatever you want to call it.
I was trying to explain that. The one day when the lady almost ran me over coming, and I ended up on her hood. She ran the stop sign. She didn't realize that I didn't have a stop sign. And I was on a bike, and I got off, and I was like, Jesus Christ, woman, what are you fucking doing? And she said, first thing she said was, you don't have to talk to me like that. I said, you almost freaking killed me. And then
Yeah. No apology, nothing.
no apology, no. She had this look where she didn't figure she was responsible at all for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's why the stuff you say, conscious by concern, it's absolutely correct.
Yeah, and it was like,
Correct. That's
wow.
what,
I was looking at her like, you just believe that you would, because you're in a car that, and I'm on a bike that you, and I wanted to explain the law to her. Like, I have my own lane. I pay
yeah.
attention. You have to pay attention to us. All the laws do exist still. And then she was just like, it was like a flyby on her. And then she drove
Yeah.
away. I was
They're
like,
like dynamite. Women are like dynamite, man. They're like they're explode. They like you invite a woman into your life. Forget it. Your life's gonna explode. You're gonna deteriorate. Not only mentally, physically, financially. It's not just financial. I mean, it's like all this other stuff. You're gonna have all this stress.
emotion.
You're gonna decrease your longevity.
Well, that's
Uh,
the pathos thing, because you
uh,
become drained with the pathos.
your health is going to decline because all the estrogen. You're gonna have a lot of issues. You're gonna like cease to be a man because now you're a slave. That's why you see all these guys walking around. They're just so effeminate, you know. So I can't. I don't even really get it. I mean, I have trouble. Like if you're not, if I talk to these guys on like RP and JK and Jeff, and I enjoy my conversations. And Black Wolf was on it. It was Discord. I talked a little bit, but whatever. But I like these guys. I can talk to them man to man, and we communicate well, and I learn from them. But when I talk to these freaking simps and these married guys and these women chasing, the conversation is so much different because they're just I can't really. Those guys do not enhance my life. I can't. There's nothing they can do to really elevate me to become a better person. Because they're just in this fantasy fiction world.
Yeah, he wanted to come in today. You good for company today?
Yeah, I mean, it's your show. Yeah, yeah, it's your show. Yeah, it's not my show. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think it's important to have those relationships with other Mgtow because you're not if you start interacting too much with these other people, boy, they're gonna lead you down a bad path. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of friends that aren't Mgtow, unfortunately. They're just people I've known from high school or whatever, right? Like
Yeah, I was thinking about that group.
Yeah.
I think Mgtow Values went off on them already, and somebody sent me. I think you sent me a thing on that new group of men that are.
Oh yeah. That Simp conference or like
conference.
Simps in Vegas weekend.
Yeah, they're pushing masculinity, and the way to masculinity. Is through
red pill. It's like it's actually a red pill conference for men. Is pretty much what it is. But
and just
but they're really I saw some of that. They're really just Black Wolf can talk about it more. He has more information, but it's really just a PUA. It's like I don't know how you would describe it, but
hey everybody, and it's a PUA thing that they're trying to do, but they're trying to put some kind of red pill spin on it. In other words, they want to use all of our talking points, but use it in a blue pilled way. And so they're trying to give a message that was never theirs to give. And I'm laughing because my video, the stream that I had got blocked worldwide. For those of you who don't know, I threw it back up there. I just took out 2% of it, but I threw it right back up there.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, they want to pose the suffering, the pathos, along with masculinity, and just go suffer. It's almost a man up group. What they're telling you is, okay, if you're rich and you go and you can afford that, and just do the PUA thing, and at the end you'll be able to afford for her to take half your money.
And the tickets were like $2,000 a piece. I mean, it's like going to a panel with a bunch of guys that are saying boss up, man up, pay to be oppressed, pay to be an ATM, pay to be a slave. It's such a noble thing.
Oh, such an admirable thing. But I think it's funded by the government. Somewhere down the line, some of these guys, there's a couple man up group. What was that man up group the other day we looked at, Joey? Fathers for Families, and oh, I get these things sent to me every day. They're the latest argument for fatherhood.
Yeah, they want more. Yeah, they want men to be bigger and better slaves.
Yeah, they want you to be a better slave. They want you to be a mentor to the kids. Even though she's got baby daddy number 1, 2, 3, and 4, you're supposed to go over there and just be the best dad. And it's like, man, that shit just. Why can't guys see that baby daddy number 1, 2, 3, and 4 is polygamy, and that leads to slavery? And it's a lie. Anytime you lie to
instinct, Joe, I think it's a natural instinct. That's what it is. But you have to fight against that because of how they've changed the laws and how they've designed everything. You know,
the laws are government differently now. Why can't our government see that we had a civil war over this, and the two things go together. The two tenets of barbarism go together like peanut butter and jelly, because this is how it works in real life.
But that's what I've concluded. I've concluded that they can't see through it because that's their natural instinct to want to have children, to want to have sex with these women or whatever. You know, which I get it, but you have to use your mind to kind of say, okay, well, we're on enemy ground here, you know, and you know, they got their police gang running stuff, and if you don't follow the rules, well, you're gonna go to jail. You know, it's like I don't want to do that. You know, I've never been to jail. I'm never gonna go. It's impossible. I'll never go.
I'll die before I go to jail. Yeah. For some kind of social law that's non-material.
So you got to make a choice. You got to make a choice. Do you want to follow your natural instinct? Which, okay, you can, but you got to play by their rules. Or you could just kind of say, no, I'm just gonna, you know, I'm gonna recognize what's going on, and then I'll just say, okay, I have to make a decision. Yeah, it's like a trade-off. There's always going to be a trade-off, even in Mgtow. You know, but the trade-off for us is a better quality of life.
You know, even if we're doing our own thing, and I tell guys this, even if they go off and, you know, do surrogacy or they have their own kid or adopt or whatever, the funny thing about this is a single mother, nobody looks at that with suspicion, but if you're just a guy doing your own thing or a single father by choice, then people want to give you the side eye. And even if you live in the middle of nowhere, just a man living alone, they don't want that. They hate that because you're not feeding the system of Leviathan or any kind of structure that they have set. And the structure is they keep kids stupid in school, and the kids either grow up to work some kind of dead-end job or function like a drone, or they mess up, get sent to prison where they end up, you know, once again being a drone, making a license plate or something. The whole thing is designed to either put you in prison or have you in a stagnant state, which is why they appeal to our instincts. And what's really funny about this, I make a joke about it, but it's actually very true. Women have to be convinced to love men for whatever superficial reason, be it theirs or otherwise. And we have to be tricked often into loving them.
Right. We have to be tricked into that. I was going to put that picture up and let you guys, I don't know if it's going to show up what's important in that picture. Well, they show the group of men that are, and there's now a girl in that. Did you see the latest picture?
No.
Oh, well, let me see if I can find this.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah, that's always what comes is okay, now there's a girl in it. And where is that at? I can't change my brand here. Oh, I can put it in here. Okay, yeah, let me put it in backstop. And
oh, you know, so you know who their godfather is the Rollo Tomasi or whatever.
Yeah, apparently he's the Grand Mac Daddy leader.
Yeah,
of all Red Pill.
They all have plaques of his picture on their walls or whatever, or you know.
Oh, there it is.
Framed pictures of him in their office.
Yeah, Rollo Tomasi. You know, he did what he did. There it is.
Yeah, we should all be so lucky. Next time, to all dudes watching this, next time you find yourself with a woman, you just like do it or whatever. Just make sure you put a picture of Rollo Tomasi. It's all for you, Rollo.
Can I display the background on here?
I don't know. My phone's frozen for some reason. I don't know what's going on.
I can see it.
You can see, yeah, right. Look right at the end now, that pair of gams right there. And yeah, the thing for that is, there's all the guys in there, and then now there's right at the end there's a female, and it's like this is the way this thing always goes with these guys. They introduce whatever they're gonna get, whatever they make, whatever they is eventually gonna get stolen, and it's gonna be their own fault too. It's the same as the MRA with the honey badgers. It's always going to get stolen, but yeah, that's the slow creeping process which they bring the women in, and then they say, and you know what it says underneath there? It doesn't show it in that picture. It says "Make women great again," and the guy's wearing a red Trump hat. It's like,
wow.
It's like, wow, are you guys that delusional? And it's funny that these men are so stupid. These are supposed to be red-pilled men.
You know, I've been warning men about this for years, and a lot of people think that I'm just exaggerating, but it's true. If there were only 100 clubs in the world and women had 99 of them, they would still be trying to join our one club. We don't have too many spaces, and these guys are so stupid because they fail to realize that if you go to a female space and they don't want a male voice to be heard, they'll just, kick that person out, jettison them. But these guys believe that there needs to be a female interjection with every male group. Oh, we got to get a female validate this, guys. We got to
be filtered through the female. It's like, or else it's not good. Yeah, it's just really weird. There was another thought I was about that, and I lost it again. My cognition today is a little off. I got the shot. And there is
your body, your choice, Joe.
Yeah, it was my choice. That's what this thing is about. This is one of the things that I acted on. I wouldn't get it. But it was a big learning lesson for me, and it's like, what did I ask for? I volunteered for it, and I had to go get it, and that seems to be a truth in all of this thing. But all in all, there'll be end results where I'm going to have.
Well, you got more courage than me. I'm not going to get it.
Yeah, I'm going to be able to go out. I'm without a mask on, and I'm going to put my tag right here and then wear it. And it's like, I don't need, you guys can go to hell now. I'm not going to abide by those rules. And I'll be able to go out to dinners and stuff like that again and have a somewhat normal life for the summer, because this shit is growing old. I think that's part of the desire too, to do it, because this shit is growing so old.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy, man. I've just been staying away from everybody. I mean, I'm holding off getting that thing as long as possible. If I have to, then fine, but I'm holding off until they.
Well, you get to like, if I turn into a zombie, I'm doing this for all you guys. It's like, if I turn into a zombie, John, what did RP say yesterday? That there's estrogen in those shots, and they just give them the men, and it's just like pure estrogen.
It could be a Mgtow.
Yeah, I'll become a Mgtow, and I'll be like, yeah, I think I'm going to join the men, because they got a girl in their group, and if that happens to me, you'll be able to say, "Yep, don't get the shot." Oh man.
Yeah, it's really funny. I see this happen all the time. I mean, it happened with MRA, Karen Straw ended up being the leader. It's going to happen again with their little thing over there.
Once I seen it with the VSW Cubs. As soon as I got out of the Army, I went and joined a Veterans of Foreign War Club, and the bars that you go to, and there was no women in it. No women were allowed to come into that hall. And then all of a sudden, one guy says, my wife can cook for us. And then they're like, oh, yeah, hamburgers and stuff. And then I went back like 2 months later, and it's like no swearing behind the bar because his wife would be offended. And so we can't swear anymore. And then like 2 months after that, the place closed down because everybody stopped coming there.
Yep. That's why I keep telling men, like, women have a different lens of how they view stuff. I mean, when they diss each other, it's visceral. But when we do it, it's just a form of camaraderie. It's a form of endearment. Women don't understand that, and so women seek to change everything to fit
Right.
their narrative, and sometimes they aren't purposely doing it. But I often have to tell these same women, and they get mad at me when I do it, like, oh, we don't like Black Wolf cursing or drinking. I'm like, well, you don't have to like it. My existence isn't predicated on how Jessica and any of her friends feel about me, and
Yeah.
they can't handle that, so they get other men. I've seen women do this, and this is
Right.
why I jokingly like why I compare them to children, because I can't stop Black Wolf from doing this. Let me go get these guys over here. And so they'll send some dude to get me to stop, and then that dude will go back to her. Well, we told him to stop, and what happened? He told me to piss off. Oh crap! He's gonna keep doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a natural progressive. But the funny part is, man, we got to. You know what really kind of aroused me about that thing? The first was the request that we all get along, wasn't there?
Yeah.
It was the bait and switch. It was like, oh man, we've seen like guys get docs, guys get this, and in that first video they put out, it was, we've seen all this horror. Men can't get along. No, men can't get along in here because you're telling people lies, and Mgtow has a duty to our ethos to examine what you're telling men, and that's what they don't understand. And if you went with them with a logical conversation about ethos, about what they're telling men, and the big lie that they're feeding men, it would just go right over their head, and it has gone over their head for almost 40 years. We've seen these groups before. If you want a good book to read, it was what was that book? It explains the history of the manosphere, and we've seen groups from the Mesopoetic group to Big John group to which Big John stole. He was trying to portray himself as that, and it's all based on these tolerable groups that man up groups. And we've seen this in the man, not even the manosphere, the men's rights organizations, always falling for the same thing. It was, and they always fall for the same thing over and over and over again, and they get the same results. And that's the very definition of crazy, isn't it? Doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same results, and expecting, putting biscuits in the oven, expecting cookies to come out.
Yeah, I agree. It is insane, and I've seen the same thing. With the bait and switch, and I don't know if you like seen any of these lifestyle or life coach guys.
Oh
They're
yeah,
just as bad. In
yeah,
fact, they're worse because they try to have their foot on every side of the map. And when they get called out about this, they start screaming, yelling, and acting crazy on anyone. And these are the people marketing themselves as life coaches and gurus and all this other stuff. So it's they what they'll do is they'll invite any man that doesn't disagree with them, have the women go after them. They make sure they invite women to validate, because as long as they have a woman to validate
oh yeah.
everything that they say, then that's the only way they can feel like a man. And so it's
Right,
kind
we're
of
reputable because we have women. No,
yeah.
it's just, yeah. In Mgtow, we don't do that, and it's like that's what they don't understand. It's always this desire to, and we'll go back to the desire thing. The desire to make Mgtow into what they are, so it lays easy on their brain.
And that's what like pissed me off. Like in at least when I was at least like 2 streams I've done now, I've been very mad about that because it was never their message to give.
It's not
And
their
it
message to give, and it's not their area to come over here and like if this was Judaism, they come over here preaching Catholicism and tell us that we have to listen. No,
and
no, we're atheists over here, and they're coming out telling that you have to believe in some sort of God, and it's like, no, we don't. We believe in what Mgtows believe in, and that's in these groups, it's the other side of harm reduction. We err towards the abstinence, and I'm going to be real fucking careful.
yeah, and the crazy part about this is they make it they make it seem like we're the ones seeking them out. They're the ones who seek us out,
Yeah,
especially when they put our tags in their crap
yeah,
or try to put Mgtow in a title. Of course, we're going to show up. Of course, we're going to kind of
right.
like glance
We're
at
going
it
to
for a bit,
defend
and they know
MGTOW.
this.
We're going to defend the wrong idea, and that's our dedication to the morality of logic. We need it to be the way it is because we're very dedicated to that. There's a morality in MGTOW of truth, and if you can't handle it, truth is sometimes real hard to handle. I've seen, when I go off about fatherhood and that, they go off about that. Yeah, I'll tell you what, if they want to get to the bottom of these things and stop the argument, come to here and discuss fatherhood with me.
Yeah,
You think
they
I
won't
would?
because they're
Yeah,
cowards, you know.
I've been making that invitation almost 2 years now, but they'll be cowardice and they'll try to tell you that fatherhood's a good thing. You just got to man up.
They they never give you a straight answer. They say it's us, but they never give you a straight answer. And how you
No,
saw the same thing with my streams. I told them, like, whether they agree with me, disagree with me, I give them almost 7, 10, 11 hours to come. I give them every opportunity to come. I tell them I won't kick you, just come in. But they won't. See, they won't come to, our side, like go into the manosphere and come to us directly because they're cowards. So they have to throw out little beacons to try to lure us over
right,
there to their little things so they can make us look bad, but they're too stupid to realize that they can't make us look bad. They're the ones using our tags, they're the ones using our talking points and trying
right,
to give a message that was never theirs to give, trying to spin something that can't, be spun. It's not a Rubik's cube. It may not be the simplest thing in the world, but it's also not the most complicated thing in the world to perceive. And they simply can't handle that reality, and
right.
so they try to terraform this whole thing in the same way. I'm just gonna come out and say it to all the guys who aren't MGTOW, who aren't red pilled, who make this content. Guys like me would never even know who the hell you were if you didn't put MGTOW in your tag. So they
Right.
clearly want attention.
Right. There would be no way I would even look at that. But when I start getting things like that sent to me and people, what do you think of this group? I'm going to tell them exactly what I think about it. If they would come over and discuss fatherhood with me, and you got to prove to me scientifically that that's a thing. And the hard part about this is I always fall back on a Durkheim's material facts and non-material facts in the state. Fatherhood is a non-material fact that's bound to the material fact of the the uh, the institution of health and human services, which which is Durkheim's explanation of fatherhood is this thing you get thrown on it, but in that they're talking about a very socialistic thing. And these are the same right wingers that are using the mega hat and a mega thing to it's like, so it's convenient socialism is what it is. Fatherhood is convenient socialism. So if you want to make America great again, get rid of get rid of the marriage system because that's socialism.
Yeah.
Morons. These guys are morons. And then I see that with Joe Biden too. Joe Biden is a convenient conservative. He believes in marriage. He believes in all that stuff. And these people elected him on the premise of progressivism. It's like that guy's about as progressive as my fucking little toe. I was going to say my dick, but my dick's more progressive than him.
Yeah, it's all part of the plan to keep men firmly on the plantation. A lot of guys don't realize this, but without us, society would cease to function. I mean, I could tell you instances that people have told me about, friends and stuff told me what's been going on in Italy. The elderly are leaving, the young people don't want to be kind of up in there anymore. COVID kind of took a lot of people out. And now the place is just nothing but women with strollers and women with their single children. And I would not want to be a boy of a single mother in Italy right about now because it's the mad you go into class, like 90% of the class is women. They're trying the last few men remaining there. They're trying to feminize them, and women are just stabbing themselves in the foot at this point. And
Oh man, I was
it's
going to put up that meme. Generation X, the last generation from 60 to 79, the last generation to not be the sissies. And then they show the millennials, the generation before the sissies. It's like, man, what do they sign up for? It's like the young, yeah, there's a lot. In Italy, they're going to have a real, they were supposed to be, with COVID and all the deaths and everything, and it's basically elderly people. There was like a $20 trillion monetary switch. So all these millennials were like saying, all the boomers were, they just have all. Well, there's your 20 million. There's your $20 trillion switch. Who got it?
It all ties back into the thing you said earlier. People better be very careful what they wish for,
Yeah,
because I've seen those places throughout the world that are, villages in Brazil and
yeah,
places that are 90 or 100% women, just about. They look like hell. Look like
right.
the epitome of hell.
Do you walk around your neighborhood? Well, I know you do. Probably. We walk around the
Yeah.
suburban areas in your neighborhood. Can you tell which? I could tell every house that a baby mama lives in, because there's usually a fire pit in the front yard, something inappropriate like a swimming pool or a swing set. Instead of having well manicured grass, it's like barren ground. And there's garbage laying everywhere.
Yeah, man. Like whenever I leave the woods and I go from like the rural area, like I get closer to the city, I always know like who pretty much lives in the single house, because,
Yeah,
dude,
you
it
can
looks
tell.
like
You
no
can
one
drive
mows the lawn. Looks like a safari in
by.
there, just chopping down.
Sorry.
It's got
Yeah,
a lawnmower and a grill out in the front, grill that's never been used, and they just let the whole place
yeah.
go to hell, man. Like you go to
No,
any
how's that?
place where single motherhood is like very rampant, it's always going to look like hell, because there aren't any men to fix up anything, and the ones that are there don't know how to fix anything because nobody ever taught them, and mommy doesn't know. So they just women just expect the magic lawn mowing fairy to come out and
Yeah,
fix stuff, or they believe that they could just pay people to do stuff, and this is where the children grow up with entitlement. They believe they could just be disrespectful and pay
right. Or the
people, and
government comes in and gives them a stipend for lawn care.
yeah, it's pretty sad. I've even had people do like try to pull that crowd with me. I mean, like put their foot in the door or knock on my door like 4 in the morning, saying, "Oh, you're the guy that fixes the fences around here." I'm like, "Yeah."
You
"Oh, well,
know?
we need you right now." I'm like, "Okay, sir, do you know what time it is?" And he's like, "Well, I'll pay you." And I was like, "Well, I don't know." I just let him go. I just wasn't even gonna deal with that, just because they just believe they can pay their way out of any situation. And it's women believe this often. They teach this to the children. It
Right,
creates a sense of entitlement to where these kinds of people will go everywhere all over the world thinking this, and they don't stop until they get put in a place with that, because you can't just buy anybody off. I can't be bought,
right.
and
Or
anybody
labor
would
has
honor
no
me.
value to them. It's like, yeah, no, labor has a value to me, and what is that value, and how do you ask for it? It's like, uh,
Exactly. I mean, there's things I would do for free if people would just be respectful. I mean, but just common decency is a dwindling thing. And I always tell people I don't mean to be an ass. It's just I'm that way because so many people are trying to be an ass with me, especially with all the city people moving up here. I mean, I feel bad for the elderly. I feel bad for any genuinely kind
right,
person has to deal with their narcissistic attitude, and it defeats the purpose of moving away, because they move from the city and bring the city to the rural area. Now everybody's telling me, man, I can't stand these people. Are going to move to the mountains. And I'm like, yeah, and once we all move to the mountains, they're going to move up there. It's going to be like a
right.
constant game of tag, where we're just trying to get away from
How far can you get away? Yeah, it's Montana now.
them.
But yeah, it's predicated on this whole idea of that we have that's just wrong. It starts from the baby mama system. They have the insipid religionism that's crept into our government, and all of a sudden we have these religious policies of marriage that predates like that they believe predates legal things. It's like, and their idea becomes that. It's like, oh man. their society. Well, it's more of a policy issues, and the policies that they have are wrong, and we have to start talking about those policies. Uh, like I said, why, man, these guys can't. You can't see that that baby mama that's ruining your neighborhood has 4 different baby daddies, and that's polygamy, and that just goes right over their head, and that's 40% of females with children nowadays are polygamists, and that's okay in America. Uh, these guys will argue for masculinity all day and argue for men to man up all day, but it ain't going to cure that thing unless the legal situation gets cured.
Yeah, women want to have their cake and eat it too, so they're not going to give up any unearned privileges that they have
Oh no, they're not
in
going to
order
give
to
up.
make
Yeah,
things better.
if I had those privileges, like I wouldn't give them up either. You'd have to pull them away from me, and I would go, okay, yeah, yeah, I could see that was wrong, but hey, you were letting me do it.
Yeah,
I'll be,
that's how it is with them. I mean, they just go from one thing to the next, and that's why I've always told, like, I tell a lot of guys, especially guys watching this, just when it comes to our groups, our voices should always be the loudest. I mean, no matter what. I mean, the crazy part about it is they put women in these groups, and then the one woman's voice ends up being the only one that matters and the loudest
the
voice. And
voice that matters for them. Yeah, I have to exit for a second. You guys can keep talking.
okay, sure thing.
I gotta. This tea that I'm drinking today is a fermented aged tea, and it's a diuretic.
uh, no worries, man. We'll be here. So, what's good in the life of Joyce? Joy. There, Joe?
Oh, here you are. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. What's
Oh, okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. So Joyce overtook Claire. The power struggle at the top. I don't know if you know who Joyce is. That's Mention's sister. Giving a
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's giving him a bunch of shit. He did a couple of videos on it. So even in your own family, you have these women that are trying to get utility out of you. So you gotta, sometimes it's easy to let your guard down. So I don't know with Vention, like I guess the situation she moved back in the house. Now it's all chaos. So I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah, I mean it can be hard when it's family related. I mean, for me for me growing up, be it, cousin or aunt or anything like that. Like I was red pilled even as a kid and I didn't even realize it because I would just say whatever. And I made this joke a long time ago to my cousin. She got real pissed and stormed off. She's like, "You have a mother, and you said that." And I said, "Exactly. I like when I was born, I was the happiest baby in the world. I thought I escaped." And then it's just like a flip book, that smile slowly turned to a frown over the years. And she's like, "Why is that?" I was like, "Well, because I realized there were more of you to make my life miserable. Thought it was just the one." But hell, it ain't about hating women or anything like that. It's just women don't realize that we don't live life through their lens. And I think it's really mentally ill for someone to act in that way, acting like someone that needs to think, feel, and act how they want them to at all times. It's a severe mental illness that a lot of people have developed. And this is why they look confused when they get fought too. It's the funnest thing in the world. They give you this weird deer in the headlights look, like they're the ones that are offended. They're the ones that are, you know, just shamed and everything. It's freaking stupid, man. It's only getting worse. I would never want to be a kid again, not in this damn time period.
No, not with social
Uh-huh.
media. I was talking to a friend about that. Like the like we agree. Like these guys are pretty smart and a lot smarter than me. And they agree. I mean, I don't think they're Mgtow, but they were just talking about how we're talking about social media, how it's changed. I like talking to older men, you know, and they're, I say probably 70s or older. I say, how are, you know, like, how do you compare, like, how you grew up to now with the social media, and I think it's terrible, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. Welcome back, man.
I had to look at my Amazon. I have my Tanis. They're called Tanis guards come in today. They're like $100, so I don't want them to disappear off my porch. But
Yeah.
like,
We're just talking about female utility, Joe. Even in your own family, you know, like, it's easy for a Mgtow to kind of let their guard down with family, but the women in
yeah,
your own family they're still looking at you as utility.
right. It's your name up there. Like he's going through that. He went through that with his sister. Even in his family, the the people we'll talk about Vention with Joyce, his sister, had to go through that. Even with her,
Yeah.
The person that's supposed to be really close to you and have a blood bond is, they're just awful.
Yeah, you
Yeah. In
saw how
fact,
terrified he looked too. You know, like she like intimidated the guy in his own house. Like, she's running
Right.
shit. You know, he's paying the bill, and she's like totally messing with the guy. He's all stressed out, and who knows if she's gonna, you know, call Claire and pull a knife on him. You know what I mean? Who knows, right? Like,
Right. Yeah. You
because that's
you have to start
yeah,
worrying about a domestic violence accusation, and then she gets what she wants. She
right,
gets to stay in the house, and he has to leave his
right,
own house. Uh,
yeah.
the Me Too
right.
accusation that wouldn't happen with a sister, but Me Too goes a lot deeper with family. It's always a domestic violence situation. Like all she has to do is call the police and say that you're being aggressive.
Yeah. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty crazy. Thankfully, I've always had somewhat of a remedy to that, and my cousin already knows what that is. When I had to deal with her crap a long time ago,
Mm-hmm.
she didn't want to help me, work or fix anything, but she wanted to, eat up all the food and eat dinner or whatever.
Yeah.
What I did was just picked her up, took her in the back, threw her in the pig pen, and she's like, "Oh, this is abuse. This is whatever." I was like, "Yeah, you keep it up, you're gonna see abuse."
Yeah. Yeah, there's always things that come with that, even with family, with women in general. When we talk about it, we're not talking about specifically spouses. This goes from, I see MGTOWs that have a horrible, like TFM tells about his mother, the way he was raised. Every MGTOW has this story of femininity that was horrible, and it's broad based. It's not a wherever your doubt and suspicion come from about it comes from generally a female, and that could be mother, aunt, sister, lover, stripper.
Yeah.
But it's true though. I mean, a lot of be it family or otherwise, I don't ever remember even among my family any female really defending my honor on crap. But then I have to go out and try to they want me to go out and defend theirs. I mean, and that's what used to piss me off like the most. I remember going to school in the city for a while and
Mhm.
people just telling me just to get over it. You don't just get over anxiety and a bunch of other stuff. And I had to deal with that for them. Like it's no big deal. They just, even if they don't tell you to man up, they just say just get the hell over it. And that's what pissed me off about it. Like even
Yeah,
as a
man
man, you
up,
have to
get
put
over it.
your
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. As a man, you have to put like, or you don't have to, but they tell you even when you're a child, put your issue aside for the woman. That's your sister. That's your mother. Think about what they're going through. Okay, what about what I'm going through? Oh
Oh yeah.
well, you'll get over it.
Yeah, that's apathy. That's what we were kind of talking about. I was going to do, yeah, apathy, coach. That's why that's so funny because you're expected to have this apathy, and that's why I went into pathos. Pathos is the knowledge of apathy. You're to suffering. You're supposed to suffer, and it's for men are supposed to have this apathy, and we're supposed to suffer for that, and that is a weird kind of that's a weird, really weird way of looking at it. But that's our government now. They expect pathos.
And even that runs out eventually, man. I mean, that's why I've been telling, like women, because once that runs out, it's done. We're not ever really getting that back, because
Right.
for guys like me, I put myself first now, and a lot of women hate that, especially family. I got tired of being the doormat. I got tired of being the go-to and the one to take everything. And when I was a kid, I would tell them about the stuff that I was going through, and then they would immediately try to say, "Oh yeah, well that's bad," but what I went through was way worse. It would become a competition instead of just hearing me out and understanding where I was coming from and why I was dealing with all this anxiety, PTSD, and all this stuff. It just became an epic competition. And after a while, they would, I mean, imagine having a panic attack or having previous panic attacks and someone saying, "Oh, poor, pathetic you," and just get over it and whatnot. And
Pull your
you get
stuff up by bootstraps, man up.
Yeah, when you get told that, like, you actually, yeah, you do man up, but not in a way that they would want you to. You start to just say, "Screw it, I'll care about myself." Then if it's going to be that way, I don't you don't see me sticking my neck out for women like that anymore. Like even family that much, because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, when was the last time they ever defended my honor, done much for me? I mean, there's a few noteworthy moments, but I just remember me always like jumping to the aid of my family, and I reached the age where I'm just tired of doing it.
Yeah.
I just
It
don't
gets
feel like doing it
trying.
anymore.
Yeah, it gets trying. That's what I always say. At a certain point, answering the phone, "What do you need?" is it's just, it gets old, and no one ever thinks about you, and none of those supposed favors ever come back to you either. Uh, I mean, just this year alone, there's like two men owe me supposed favors. They're supposed to get this van done out here, and next week I'll be doing it myself. And those things don't come back. It's like not going to happen.
Yeah,
And that's people in general too. We become very trusting of, and that's half the problem. We trust the people that are supposed to be closer to us, and they're not really worthy of trust. A lot of my message used to be, don't fall, don't trust, don't trust, but how does that go? Trust but validate, um, trust but validate it. Make sure it's real. Make sure it's going to happen. Uh, and that's a risk reduction. If I can afford to risk this thing, I But even then, that's when the biggest disappointments in life come. When you had an agreement with someone, and that's where rage comes from. Anger comes from when you have an agreement with someone and they break that agreement, whatever kind of agreement that was. And people will often do that.
exactly. And it just destroys any kind of bond or unity. I mean, that's why
Right.
you go into these suburban areas or these big cities. In the rural area, that you might have like maybe 100, a couple hundred people, but at least they kind of, for the most part, know each other or know a little bit about each other. In the big cities, you would think that one wouldn't have such problem, but man, you can go in a place and feel utterly alone because there's no connection of any kind. People aren't
Right.
connected to one another. They're more
Yeah.
connected to their phone and
They're
everything
more
else that's
connected
going
to their
on.
phones. Yeah, I have to say that Mgtow wasn't born in the vacuum of misogyny. Something happened, and it was born out of it was born out of a lot of things. It's a reaction to something. We just don't. We're just not here because nothing happened, and we're all just what they say misogynist pigs, and we're just, oh no. Uh, what's the word that I always use? It's because when they ask you why you're a MGTOW, you say because means by cause.
Yeah,
It's something happened to by cause. I'm a MGTOW by cause, not because nothing happened. And they we talk about they disinvalidate your reasons why as being immature or No, these are most MGTOWs have very good reasons. Look at Joyce. Joyce stole $20,000 in Bitcoin from Vention. Like, no, that's a cause to be upset. That why MGTOW rage? Rage is a mechanical reaction to something, to a cause. You were disappointed about the people around you. We're not. We're not just, anger doesn't happen in a vacuum. There's something that disappointed you. People let you down, and this society often lets us down. And then we start seeing that in everything. It's like everything lets us down now.
And that's exactly why people defect, and they just leave because there's nothing there for them. And I've been trying to tell many guys this for years, and many will fight me every time. And I give them many logical reasons why guys will go MGTOW, tired of losing money. I mean, they always try to, come at us with some emotion-based crap, and
Right,
I tell
right.
them, it's more than that. I mean, you can't keep blaming the guy and saying, "Oh, it's his fault." They take this mindset to where women don't need to be accountable, but men need to be accountable for
Right. Yeah,
everyone and
that's the thing
everything.
that bothers me. There's no accountability or responsibility for women. And the only thing we can pull back is what we are, and that includes fatherhood. We just have to pull that away from them. And when they start understanding that, uh, but when you have a 95% simps in this world that would give away their very slavery to get the P, uh, which is funny. It was actually hilarious when I was reading up on desire. Desire is P to Q logic. It's like P, and I was like, the desire of whatever you desire is the P in that logic, and you're trying to fulfill that to A to action, P to A to. There's logical codes for this, and I thought, well, that's perfect. P, because that's what all men want, the P.
True, true.
But 95% of them out there would sell their own very soul for that. What chance do we have? It becomes total apathy.
Yeah, I agree. It's chaotic, and I used to think it was just the women pushing this, years ago, but there are men that enable
There are
bad
men that
behavior of
enable.
women.
Yeah. And then if we talked about that with Joey, what was that? The enabling, and what was the one we did on? I don't know if Joey's still in. We do a lot of videos on it. It's like we become the enablers of that. Well, that's what we have to teach men, how to stop enabling it. You're codependent.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of there's this really funny cartoon called Rick and Morty, and there's these two characters called Jerry Smith and his wife Beth.
Yeah, I
They
know.
Yeah, in this episode they went to couples counseling, and Jerry
Yeah,
was portrayed as this. Oh, you saw it?
yeah, the one where he blows the hole through the window.
Yeah. Their whole relationship is nothing but codependency. I mean, they're both insecure, they hate themselves, they hate each other, and but they will stay together because it's in their mind it's the only normal thing to do, and they don't know, and it's everyone
Yeah,
else that's weird in their mind. They're like,
yeah.
yeah,
Rick
we're
Rick
terrible
cloned
people.
her. She's not even a real wife. Rick cloned her.
Yeah. Had to clone her twice. It's just really crazy. I mean, like Rick and Morty is a very, very, to me, a very red pilled show. Even
Yeah,
I'd be even a very MGTOW show, and we don't get too many shows like that anymore. And the reason the media aspect matters to me because what people see, Disney movies or movies in general, is very can impact someone on top of how someone's raised, and so they get you through media, they get you through the home, and then once you're in the school system, you're already like heavily indoctrinated at that point. So it's hard to just break away from that condition. It's like religion. Hell, people call us a cult. That actually is a cult. That is a cult
yeah,
of redundancy. It's just
yeah. I've been watching House lately, and House is kind of very MGTOW in his ways. And then episode 7 is when he kind of realizes that his dating of Cuddy, and they come out, and I was really kind of happy that it did it. She says, I can't do this because I am the problem. He can't be a doctor while he's thinking like a fucking clown. And I'm the problem. There's a lot of red pill hitting there. That's funny. And I tried to watch. God, I did watch it all through. Frank Miller's The Spirit.
I heard of that.
It was the next one after. It was done in the format of his basic Frank Miller thing. What was it? But The Spirit was so. He's in love with the girl that she's in love with hypergamy, and she leaves, and it's like wow. And then he's having a battle with another supervillain, which is, and it was also watching TV
Yeah.
hard if you're a Mgtow.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of gems though, like sometimes
Yeah, sometimes the new logic prevails, and you can see it. They portray it correctly.
that's why I keep trying to
Or they
that's why I keep
lightly
trying.
dance around it. That's what bothers me. They lightly dance around the logic of situations, and then because they're always concerned with the blue pill army that they'll have to deal with if they say that, you know, like Matthew McConaughey did. Hey, that's love isn't real. It's just chemicals, and then you have to deal with the blue pill army.
Yeah, I mean it's really sad when I think about it because maybe it was always this way. I mean, I'm not sure, but men, it's like we as men we're taught to value ourselves so little
Yeah,
to the point where hell we'll jump off a bridge if a woman asks us to. I mean, and if you refuse to do this, and they go, oh, that guy's just what are you, a coward? What are you, a rainbow? Why? And you almost have to defend. Well, actually, yeah, you have to defend yourself
yeah.
from
That's
other men by
one of
telling
the
them, well, no,
tenets
I
of
don't want to jump off
MGTOW
a
is
cliff.
we're not disposable males no more, and that's why we use that. We're no longer disposable. It's like don't expect that from us, but people don't see that. Yeah, we realized a long time ago that men are disposable.
Yeah, and they call us defiant. It's and the last person that told it was, oh, you're being defiant. I was like, that's an interesting way to say self-preservation.
Yeah, define of your gods.
You know, yeah, man.
Yeah, I
It's crazy that whole concept. I mean, they worship the V so much to the
yeah.
point where they're willing to die just as an opportunity to just to be validated, and it's so pathetic and
It's so
so
pathetic.
sad.
Yeah. It's not even real. There's no such. The validation is only self-validation. It's in their head that they've done something so honorable. They self-sacrificed, and that's that you got to start thinking about what is your history as a fucking human where you think that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sense of depravity, man. It's we need to get to a place where we as men like can collectively just feel proud of ourselves
Right.
just for being men. I mean, women are told, they're a Wonder Woman, hear me roar, be proud to be, you know, like woman or whatever. But we as men, we're not told that. I mean, we're told that we should be happy to be in some kind of servitude, and that's what I disagree with. I mean, when you look at all these famous philosophers and these famous men that went off and did stuff, they weren't they were famous partially because they didn't have a family to think about, and a lot of people don't like it when I say that, but it's true.
Right. A
They
lot
were
of
able
the
to do that.
philosophers were very MGTOW in their philosophy. Well, their Legos because they weren't Nietzsche and even Kierkegaard. I don't, no, not generally Kierkegaard, but yeah, they were very. They were a lot like MGTOWs, and because they didn't put a lot of stock in that. Uh, Wittinger and even Wittgenstein and uh, but there's a certain logic that comes from the MGTOW monk from being that you see the world as it is, not as you would like it to be in that fantasy fiction world that you would like to be in. The logic of it starts becoming prevalent. But dealing with the illogical world is like, wow. Sometimes, I mean, I just look around and go, wow. you, you people really believe that, don't you?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. I mean, I still get comments like this, like one I just got now from this rsr.s guy from he must be one of Ask Nathaniel subs.
Yeah.
This is the kind of comments that I get almost all the time. Serious question: are you guys all closet wannabe homosexuals? Because it appears your perfect mate would be the thing you love the most, another man. Being gay is okay. It is okay now, right? And this is the shaming that I'm talking about.
Right.
This is the
Yeah.
patheticness that I'm talking about.
Let me change my banner here for that. Okay. The default position of the male sexuality is asexuality. When you're working on a car, you're not thinking about that. When you're at work, you're not thinking about that, or you're going to get in trouble. Yeah, the default position of sexuality isn't homosexuality for those idiots that have never been taught that lesson. And asexuals aren't homosexuals.
Yeah, they don't know that. They think we were just born to breed like barnyard animals.
Yeah, but you can't get that. When we say we don't do those things, we don't do them with men either. but they have to. They're the kind of people. As we talked about this a lot. They would do it with a telephone pole.
Yeah, that's how crazy that's how extreme their hedonism is. They can't
Yeah,
stop
that's how
being
extreme their
hedonistic.
hedonism. If they could get away with doing their dog or their cat or a kid, they will. And they're telling on themselves. They're telling about their ethics and morality when they say things like that because they're justifying bad behavior, and they don't know the difference between the default position of a male is asexuality. It's like when you're walking through the woods, you're not thinking about that. And if I see someone doing it in the woods, I'm going to be like, "You go get a room, asshole."
Seriously, it's insane.
It's
Just
insane. Yeah, they're insane.
I just find it funny that you know the term rainbow is thrown around so much. I mean, people will tell you like, "Oh, it's okay, whatever." Well, if it's okay, then why continue? The people who keep calling us that are the ones that bring it up more than anybody. I mean, it kind of makes you
Yeah.
wonder about them. They
Well,
would
their
do anything with a
philosophy with
pulse.
that rainbow coalition is so screwed up that they see sexuality the same. They're almost exactly the same as the traditionalites. They see sexuality as a mandatory, and they see it as it's either or, and we're allowed to do the other or. And it has nothing to do with that. It has the normal human sexuality. The default position is off, but they can't turn it off and then they're arguing between themselves about which one's righter, and they're both wrong. God, and that's the kind of it's the kind of diversion the government gives, so they don't have to actually say out loud that they don't have to actually give the correct answer, because the correct answer would harm a lot of them, or at least harm their delicate little psyches.
Yeah, that's why I tell people all the time, like, hey, just consider me asexual. Then, I mean, if they really want to start applying labels, because I mean, obviously, I mean, we're all attracted to women and everything, but I just say that
Yeah,
just to get people off my case, because that you're right, that is the default for men anyways, is
right.
asexuality.
If someone asks me about it, I say I'm a monk, and I usually wear my kufi wherever I go. That's as a protection. They says, well, what's your deal? And I says, I'm a monk. I'm asexual. Don't talk about it around me, or else I will be offended. And that's the easiest way to do it. There's a lot. I mean, when I have to go out and I see people acting like that, it just looks ridiculous to me. It's like, grow up. And that's 98% of society, all the traditionalites, all those liberties, they all need to fucking grow up. And just fix themselves. If they had to do most of the time in life is do a quick introspection of your faults and realize that what part you played in this thing, and you'll see everything. But that takes a more monkish thing to do the introspection. To say, hey man, I don't believe everything anymore about how about religion and sexuality and all that stuff. There's just one truth in this thing, but that would be too hard for them all because I don't know. On one end, they conservatively balk because they want to make whores out of their wives at night, and they like their slavery. And when they volunteer for their own slavery, they can't see how that happened because, well, you got what you wanted, and that's what this video is about. The worst things in life are free, and you volunteered. But trying to tell them that, and they've made laws and social norms about based on anti-truths, and we expect that someday they will see it. But like with the group we got coming in, there's always this anger against us. There's always this incoming group that's going to explain to us how we got to get in line. The entryism of it too. It was mega. Before that, it was something else. It was the Christians were coming around. Before that, it was the Mesopiotics. Before that, it was the MRAs. They were going to fix everything. Those MRAs. Ooh, what'd they do? Nothing. They got all their money stolen from a couple of girls that they trusted. That good example. They become a cautionary tale.
And they really do. You know what's funny to me? Whenever it comes to the people that disagree with our philosophy, they never really they attack or they ask questions, at least to me, while at the same time referring to the entire group simultaneously. And it's the weirdest thing in the world. How do you ask me a personal question and go, "Oh, do you guys?" and then still address the question towards me? It's funny.
The off the field conversations. They want to do an off the field intersectionality. Most of them will say they don't believe in intersectionality, but then they do intersectionality. That's kind of why I use this mug today. Because there are Mgtows like this. He's an exception to the rule. He's not every Mgtow. He's allowed to do what he wants. I'll never say he's not allowed to do what he wants, but he's not the atypical Mgtow. That's turd flinging monkey. I mean, there's a lot. Yeah, in any segment of society, you're going to have homosexuals. You're going to have guys that do dolls. You're going to have guys that believe in other things. We're going to be representative of alt-righters. We're going to be representative of black nationalists. We're going to be representative of all these things in life. We're going to have them all in our group, but they're not represented of the group. That's not the total group. The total group, most of us, are very normal.
Yeah. They don't want to accept that, we have to be the abnormal group in order for them to validate their own lives. And that's what I mean about these insecure people.
Abnormal, because I cherry picked like this guy over here, and you're just like him, they're saying to us. And that's insulting, and that violates their very ethics when they do that.
And they destroy their own arguments. I mean, that's all they have is petty ad hominem attacks. I mean, and that's what I
remember what SFM used to say. Just let this clown talk long enough, and he'll give himself away. Every time he got attacked, he just let the guy talk, and then at a certain point, he exploded. But it's like, okay, but you got enough information from the advocate person advocating for something else that he's just a blue pillar and he doesn't understand.
They try.
Yeah.
And they expose themselves like Derek Jackson, all these people. They eventually find themselves in compromising positions despite all
Right.
the crap they preach.
Right. If we just wait long enough, every one of them, there's a very small segment of society that actually makes it through. Their marriages, and he gets to that 50-year anniversary and hold and wave a flag and say, "I've suffered so much that I did it," and then he becomes the national hero to them. But 86 to 92% of the other people aren't important. It failed and destroyed their lives, and it's destroying our country. And that's okay because one person made it to the promised land. It's like, wow, wow. And by the way, most of the corporations in America that have left America and failed have left and failed for one reason: divorce. So if they want to cure jobs in America too, uh, well, they have to cure divorce first, or else the woman's going to keep half of it's going to go to her. You can see it with the Amazon lately, half, and then she's just, it didn't kill Amazon, but luckily it didn't.
Yeah.
I always give the example of the construction guy in LA. I can't remember his name, Johnson, I think it was. He got a divorce, and his wife got half the corporation, but she started what do you call that? She started selling it off, and then all of a sudden, like this guy was employing like 50,000 people in LA, and all those guys lost their job, and nobody thought that was weird. Okay, we're coming up on the 2 hour mark, and I pretty think we're struggling for topics now.
Sorry about that. I can throw something out there. I mean, I guess I kind of lag a bit, man, because I had to stay up all night to get that damn video back up because they
Oh,
wouldn't let me
they were
appeal. But
screwing with you.
so I'm a little groggy from it.
Yeah.
But
Did you have to
yeah,
edit it out?
but yeah, I can throw a new topic out there to keep the ball rolling. The I think it's just really sad that the hedonism is what bothers me a lot, and that's why that one stream you were on, I wasn't trying to like cuss up a storm or anything, but just I get sick of the hedonism. I get sick of people acting like they have to be screwing everything with a pulse, and then they keep throwing around like gay so much, like these
Yeah,
PUAs and the Ask Nathaniel Lifestyle Coach channel, his fans. They call other people gay, but they do more gay things than anyone I've ever known. They mention gay stuff all the time. They're always trying to dick police people, and it's just they don't even realize that what they're doing is homoerotic in nature.
right. It's
Because
homoerotic and it's based. Yeah, hedonism. I can't remember the philosopher that did it, but there's consequential hedonism too, and there's well-being hedonism, uh, happiness hedonism, and we're talking about very different things than what they're talking about. There's hedonism for pleasure, and there's hedonism for happiness. There are two very separate things, and there is consequential hedonism, which they just really throw out there and pretend like it doesn't exist. Who's the guy that lived in the barrel by the I did a video on him a while. His philosophy was very hedonistic. He lived in a barrel out of Rome, uh, but he had arguments with the Senate about them things. But he didn't. Yeah, with everything, there's moderation and good sense. But when their hedonism is always is always they would call us fanatics. But why is their hedonism always fanatical hedonism?
they have nothing else in their life to look forward to. I mean, they don't. These same people, you can see them, making 4 8 hour streams in their damn cars and vans and
Yeah,
stuff. They have not. They preach about success, but they have no testimonies. And this is the only thing they really got going in their life is telling people to screw. I mean, sex is the easiest thing in the world to sell, man. I mean, prostitution is the oldest profession, so
Yeah, car
it
videos
just
drive me nuts. First thing I ask is, why are you in a car, and why don't you have a room to do your like this? It's like, why don't you have a dedicated room to do your you know why? Because you don't have that amount of space. Because someone else is, because that's the very problem. So they're on their car doing a video because their house is not their house.
yeah,
There's
they rent. They will always rent. They will never own. And then these are the same people trying to teach
Yeah,
you how to be
even if they do
successful.
own, there's some woman in there, and they can't do the video there. It's man, it all unfolds in front of you when you watch it with these people, and they're going to tell you that it's so great. You being in your car in the middle of the winter and having to do because your wife won't allow you to do a video from a room that you're paying for. It's like, but most of the Gemmas and those guys, they, I mean, they're all doing videos from their cars, and it's like wow, and they're not even nice cars. I mean, I was going to do a video. I had an actress once, and I wanted to do a video for my van because I have the cage van, and I had a
Hmm.
female actress, and she was just going to put up a sign, "Help me." I just thought that would be the funniest thing when I was doing a car video. It was straight from Joe's white van. I never. She wanted to do it too. She was like, "I'll just sit there back and make signs and keep putting signs up through the cage."
Man, it's things. Yeah, things are getting that bad nowadays, man. I just think we live in a crazy world. That's why I just want to move like away from. I'm planning on moving this year, probably further into the mountains. I mean, I'm looking at places like Italy, Amsterdam, Switzerland. I'm thinking about just
Yeah,
leaving America as a whole because it's getting worse. And I mean, anytime somebody has justified their hedonism by calling everybody gay, I mean, it's
right.
bad. I
It's
mean,
bad.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm
isn't
seeing.
America worth saving?
Yeah, I mean,
For these
get
guys,
this.
especially the hypocrisy of the "Make America Great" group. I mean, isn't America worth saving? Isn't America worth throwing a little of your conservative bias away and agreeing that marriage may be the worst thing for Americans instead of pushing the man up stuff on men? It's like
Yeah, and it's pretty crazy because I've seen these guys. I've seen guys have withdrawal symptoms over just not like
yeah,
getting it, and maybe even women as well. I've had to deal like I've had to try to help people like such as that, and they're very difficult to help because in their mind they can't perceive a reality of a person being okay being single. So if you tell
right.
them that you don't like the way women act or you don't date, they want to jump the gun and say, "Well, your perfect mate would be a man then," and that really just shows you their mental illness.
Yeah, yeah. They don't even realize that there's very harsh withdrawal systems for your oxytocin is 10 times more powerful than than heroin. And then withdrawal systems are they're very real, and you're going through a very real thing, but they never see the antecedent thing that brought it on. You brought it to yourself, and and you oversaturated yourself with female company, and she's a little estrogen machine, and then you reduce your testosterone. All those love chemicals started coming out, and then now you're sitting there without them, and you're withdrawing. And it's like, but the big thing is like something wrong with us for not wanting to go through that.
Yeah, and it's messed up because I've seen these people travel abroad, and that's why I mentioned that in my other stream about a few weeks back because they travel with this mentality that everyone is going to be on the same hedonistic page as them, and they get their feelings hurt quite quickly
Yeah, yeah, we're supposed to
because
all like, ooh, that's the frat boy kind of we're just go hit it and quit it, and then like I'm supposed to be on the page with that. I'm supposed to be in that kind of heat, that kind of fucking immature behavior, and they expect you that that's the norm. That's the norm, and that's the problem. That is the norm. Who developed those norms? Well, it comes through Christianity. It comes through Jesus is at the end of your bed cheering you on to stick it deep in her. Like, stick that whore deep. You know? That's your new whore. She's your wife, she called. I had that argument in my head yesterday after my stripper event. 2 days ago after my stripper event, I had another stripper come to the house. They just show up. And I was thinking, like, what's the difference? And then I gave the argument of like some guy's going to tell me that his wife is much better than that. There's some moral difference between that when actually she's a whore. I mean, it's like you're a whore, man. And that's a, I guess she's just selling that for room and board and food and money. I mean, what's the difference?
yeah, it's pretty it's messed up, man. Like I try to make sense of a lot of the stuff I see, and I just can't, man. And, and looking back, when I was a teenager, I made like a lot of, for example, like a lot of homophobic comments. As I got older, I just
Yeah,
stopped even really caring about it.
yeah,
But these people, I mean, hell, the supposed air quote straight people mention get reference gays all the time, and it just kind of makes me look at people do stuff like that, man. And I used to know a guy, you'd laugh if you can see this guy now. When I was in high school, I would I went to band, home ec, and did all this stuff, and people would make fun of me. Oh, cookings for girls, ballroom dances for girls. I'm like, well, yeah, at least I get to be touch on women there. And meanwhile, all these guys. One guy who used to make fun of me a lot. He um he was in the wrestling club, football club. He was always trying to call me feminine or gay.
yeah.
And about 10, 15 years later, I go to that reunion and we're talking. He's like, sorry, I used to make all those jokes about it. It's okay, man. It's all good. And I had to kind of have a good laugh to myself because he said, at the time he said, well, I'm in a relationship now and I got married. I'm like, good for you. I'm saying, good for you, man. And so I had an interesting 5 minutes meeting his husband.
Meeting his husband. That's nice. That's karma. Yeah.
Turns out he was the gay one.
I just realized I didn't explain my stripper events uh, to the crowd or whoever's listening. 2 times in the last couple of months. First time, one comes walking up my driveway, and I must be the stripper king because they're like they know where to go. And her boyfriend just beat her up in the middle of the street. And she was like, "Can I stay here for a second?" And that's where she left her stripper bag. And we said we're going to go through it. Now the event Thursday it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and I hear a woman outside my house getting her ass beat, and there she is laying on the sidewalk. It's like I was like, "Oh, come on, get in here." I called her an Uber and put her, make sure she, and it's like, wow. But when I start reflecting on those 2 men that did that, I was like, yep, you're just falling for that. I had to have a conversation with the second stripper. It's like, these men are traditional. They think traditional, and they think that violence is normal. And, they think that you're going to be their slave. And that's where that comes from. You have to protect yourself. And that's why I told her, protect yourself against that. Keep it very casual when you're but twice in the last 2 months I had to pick a stripper up off the ground that had gotten her ass beat. It's like I don't know what it's about in this neighborhood, but it's happening more and more. So I was like, wow. But that's the blue pill garbage that comes into your life. It's just forced on you. But at least the gods know where to send them, I suppose.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
that's the safety of a Mgtow. There's nothing weird she was like, oh, I don't. It's like, come on, there's nothing weird going on here.
yeah, they have to find, flaw with anything. Anytime there's a group that just exists to help men. Phew. Anytime
Yeah,
there's a group that exists to help men, they have to find flaw with it. The women can have like all the groups that they want,
yeah.
and
But
it's really, it's really
the
really funny
horror,
how.
the horror of the blue pill males is just, man, that it just spreads through your neighborhood, and it's such an obnoxious thing when you see it from a make up point of view. It's like, man, I can't even get no rest at night because they're just doing all sorts of crazy things out there. I mean, they're on drugs, they're drinking, they're driving their cars around. This There's been two accidents, three accidents up for drunk drivers smashed a telephone pole at the corner three times this year, and then the two stripper incidences, and then that's all these blue pill people running around just trying to do that one thing they want the most, that desire that they have the most. And if they just put that away, I mean, it wouldn't be a bad neighborhood. If it, Christ,
Yeah, but everyone's afraid to check anybody nowadays. You
yeah,
can't criticize a woman. You can't even so much as
right.
critique a woman.
Well,
And
that's
now
what,
there's even men vying for the P pass, as
yeah,
well, thinking they could just have that
that's what
privilege
make
extended to them.
that's where the Mgtow ethics. We have an ethics to the truth, and when we spread it around out there, we're fulfilling our morality, and that's Mgtow morality. And Mgtow morality is very, very strict. We have a truthful ethics in this thing, and it has to be true. And but sometimes when we tell these things to these people, they're not going to believe it because the truth hurts. Their own behavior was this consequence was their own behavior. No, they're not going to believe that. They want to continue doing that. They're addicted to it. They're like little addicts putting Percocets in themselves every 2 hours and expecting there to be no consequences about that.
Yeah, there needs to be. I mean, and this is what kind of gets me. You know, these these life coaches and some of these people that talk about this stuff, you can almost swear that they're doctors because they try to present themselves as such. And to me,
Yeah,
it's like impersonating a war veteran. They really need to be locked up because
yeah,
they're trying to give medical advice. And I feel bad for any naive person that would watch something like that because they're either going to end up getting arrested or killing themselves.
right. Yeah, that Dr. Grandi that presents himself in Mgtow at the head of all the he only reason he's up there, and I did the research on him. Me and Joey were talking about this. He graduated from Regent. It's like he got a Christian theology uh, he got a Christian theology education, and they just pushed him through and made him into a. But his only thing is counseling. It's like you can't be a doctor of counseling, buddy. It's like, but then they come with their sort of special morality and start attacking Mgtow.
Yeah, I mean, they want to just infiltrate the ranks and become, because we don't like function the way they do. We don't have like leaders in HQ or hierarchy. They can't understand that, and so that's their way of going at us. I mean, by
Right? Yeah,
using petty little
he's so
insults. Because
wrong. He is so wrong. If I ever put a complaint against him, he has two books, and one's with harm reduction and one's some other crazy made up metaphysical. It's in fantasy fiction land. It's fictional. His books are fictional, and his ideas are so wrong. They're harmful. And I was going to do a special video on him one of these days, and his ideas on harm reduction is just like bizarre. Okay. Well, it's 2 minutes and 9. That's about when I cut it off every time. Um, Anything you want to say, Joe?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was just listening in. I had to go make my bets. I was at the casino.
Okay. Did you head
Uh,
up to the casino and back?
yeah, yeah, because I get bad reception out there. It's in boonies.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was listening to you guys. Yeah, I think the one thing I would finish up conclude is like I think Mgtow is the best. To me, it's the best boundary a man can have for
Yeah.
himself. So and that's a boundary of protection. It's a boundary of high quality of life. And like you were saying, like we were talking about earlier, you can't let these blue pill people. You gotta you almost like when they're talking, just don't even listen to them. You just kind of
Yeah.
socialize with them, whatever. Like I'm gonna take guys like you, both of you, JK, RP, Jeff. Guys that are true MGTOW. Those are guys I'm gonna listen to and kind of help shape my life into a better life. Where again, when the blue pill people are talking, just shut them out because they're going to overstep their boundaries. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would just conclude with that.
Okay. Black Wolf?
And for me, um, when it comes to what I promote, I mean, I guess I'm like a hermit monk in the sense to where I agree with what he said. If it isn't about helping men, it's something positive, then I just need to learn not to even entertain. I'm to the point where I won't even entertain such comments, like the ones I was talking about, the hate and everything, because that's their projection, not ours. And MGTOW's going to be around forever, whether people like it or not. So you just have to, accept that, or you can, keep trying to parrot us. And really, it's just free promotion at that point. But my whole thing is I enjoy talking to guys like you, Trav, and Joey over here because it helps me heal. It's therapeutic for me and helps me like organize my thoughts to live a better life. And so that's what we do for each other. And there's people that don't understand that, and I actually feel sorry for the people that hate us because they drank poison hoping to hurt us from across the street, and we're just doing our own thing. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, my thing is live the best life you can live. That's what going your own way means. It means going, doing what you want to do, doing what you feel is best for you, and that's what we're here for, to help people avoid the pitfalls, or at the very least find where they want to be. You don't have to agree with every thing we say, but at the very least understand the value, and everyone's words here is worth their like weight in gold to me. That's what's very valuable to me. You can't buy that.
Right. Yeah. Wisdom is old around Mgtow. We believe in the truth. And it's hard for a lot of these guys. I know how hard it is for them to accept the truth and live in that fantasy fiction world, but that's not where we choose to live. And we have a right to be Mgtow. We're not hurting anybody. We're not saying anything that's untrue. We're not giving fake news or anything like that. We're just saying it the way it is. I want to thank everybody for coming around and listening in. If you did listen in, and that's about it. I just want to thank everybody for being MGTOW. MGTOWs.